Good. We go ahead and start.
I'll take audio and no video.
Appreciate everyone's patience. Thank you. Wrapping up day one of PPG Presents Armed Forces Qualifying at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Joining us as we wrap up, kind of a wet day one. Rinus VeeKay will be here. Jimmy Johnson will also be here, but we're going to start with Takuma Sato, 12th quick in the Nerdec ODT Dale Coyne Racing Honda. And also joining us, Romain Grosjean, 9th quick today, of course, in the DHL Honda for Andretti Autosport. And we'll just begin with Romain. Kind of an interesting day when it comes to the weather and whatnot, but no pun intended. You weathered the storm, and we'll see you tomorrow in the top 12 qualifying. Just tell us about your day a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think the day was fairly straightforward. We had an easy first run. The car felt good, and we played conservative on the downforce. I think I was lucky to draw a small number, so I was happy to start 5th qualifying. Honestly, those 4 laps were fairly straightforward and not too complicated. So tomorrow conditions are a bit different. Probably going to have to trim more to try to go faster, but so far so good.
Yeah. A reminder for everyone in person, there's a standing microphone located to your left. We'll take questions there. But first things first, to Takuma, 2-time champion. The penalty early on, but then you had to maybe, I don't know how nervous you were at the end, being on the bubble, sitting there in 12th, but you advanced to day 2 as well.
Yeah, what an eventful day for us. Going through the first qualifier was not expected that speed, to be honest. We didn't participate in a morning practice session for the preparation for the qualifying, but the condition obviously drastically changed since yesterday, and clearly we miscalculated. And then of course there was incident on my in lap that interference to the marker's warm-up lap. So obviously IndyCar gave me a penalty, which is totally fine, interference. So. Yeah, I got that penalty, and then obviously completely no time, and then do it again. Now, usually going first in warmer temperature, it is challenging, but today we were fortunately went faster and then just getting to the P12. So, and in the end, just a weather parade for our favor. But no, I think in the end, I think the team did a great job. You know, P13. And 12 is what they was showing what the boys really prepared.
Great. Let's go ahead and open it up for questions. Bruce, go ahead.
Well, there seem to be several teams, Team Penske specifically, that tried to go out and improve their position, and they got much worse. Does that really emphasize how big a gamble and risk versus reward there is if you're 15th or 16th to get into the Fast 12?
Yeah, I think you have the 2-lane option. This year it looked like a lot of people were using lane one, because no one was going home. And a lot of people thought they could go faster. Alexander Rossi was the same thing as my teammate. I think he was 15th. Went in lane 1 and ended up further away. And, you know, if the 2 Penske in front of him, well, they went in lane 1, so that would have been 13th. So I think for us it wasn't easy because we were sitting 9s, and we knew that if few cars were going faster, we were sitting in lane 2 waiting. And for the guys that were in the Fast 12, they were just throwing the lane 1 and trying to get into it. So yeah, it is quite a long day. Did only 4 laps, but fairly tired now.
Takuma?
Well, I've got experience that we wanted to go, but we can't withdraw the time, so it's a tricky. Now we saw the ambient temperature down to the 69. Everybody thought could go fast, but then looked like air density and humidity just killed for the drag, and seems to be didn't succeed, but that's the way things happen in racing. So I had about some bad luck, but also today it was a little bit lucky.
Great. Obviously also joined by the man who was quickest today in qualifying, the driver of the number 21 Chevrolet for Ed Carpenter Racing, Rinus VeeKay. great to be P1 today. I know you'd rather be P1 tomorrow, though, right?
I know, but it's a good start.
Yeah.
It shows that we have a good car, and it's confidence also for tomorrow. Unfortunately, we have to run twice now this year, tomorrow. But no, I think we have a great car. We can definitely challenge for the pole.
Great. Tim May, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Renus, what was more impressive, your run or Ed or your boss Ed Carpenter's run about 2.5 hours or 2 hours later in those tricky conditions?
Well, it's hard to say, of course, what the conditions do. I was myself pretty impressed with that 234.7. So that was a surprise, pleasant surprise, and yeah, I think it's a good job for Ed to get into the fast 12, and it gives him a shot to race for the pole tomorrow.
Yeah, and real quick, is there such an idea of like you kind of catch, you're feeling good about your car, but you kind of catch some magic there too, when you run on a day like today, you got to come back and do it all again tomorrow to get that pole? I mean, is it kind of an interesting setup or interesting dynamic there?
It's interesting, but it gives everyone, well, as much of the same chance as possible. So I think that's good, and I think it will only feel better if we get pole in that way, just because, you're definitely the fastest guy out there.
Yeah. And Takuma, when you were describing your second run, you left out the part about slapping the wall and kept on going. How worried were you at that moment? Did you do any kind of wiggle that kind of told you everything was still working, or just what was that all about? And you kind of went just as fast.
Yeah, it's a bit of both. Obviously, it's qualifying, so you got to be on the flat through there. But two things happen, of course, after I hit the wall, or brush the wall, shall we say. If the car start wiggle, which means your drivetrain's been damaged, and we should abort it. And also, I look at the tire pressure. And if there's any indication of weakness on the tire pressure down the back straight, then you should abort it too, because of safety reason to go to turn 3. But neither things happened. So obviously, when I rushed the wall, there's two choices, whether go flat or not. And as I said, it's qualify. I decided to go flat, and then basically rest of it was saved me for the in a bubble, but it was in P12. So all in all, I think he was happy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Zach?
For you guys, Chip Ganassi Racing put all 5 cars into the Fast 12. Do you feel like they are you guys' biggest competitors to go for the pole tomorrow, Chip Ganassi Racing?
Yeah. Except I lifted.
Yep.
Roman, you want to take a swing at that?
Practice.
No, well, Ganassi has been very impressive in all since we started running the long runs, and the organization, and 5 car in the Fast 12. That's pretty good. So I think having the Chevy a bit stronger. I'm not supposed to say that word, but having a bit stronger. But who knows? Tomorrow conditions are different. Well. I think Ganassi was definitely our biggest, rival out there for challenging for pole. And well, I'm allowed to say it. I think that Chevy is a little stronger this year, so I'm very happy with that. And yeah, I think we can have a solid run for pole tomorrow.
Jimmy, can you just give us your thoughts on Chip Ganassi Racing putting all 5 cars into the Fast 12? What does that mean for your organization?
Yeah, I mean, not to just state the obvious, but it's pretty awesome, and just so thankful to be a part of the group, and watching them prepare literally since they left here last year, and continually thinking of this race and it being a motto to win here before the championship. I mean, it's even written in the race shop. The first goal is to win the Indianapolis 500 and then the championship. So to be a part of it, to live it, to now be here experiencing it's really cool.
Real quick for Renus, your lap, I believe, was the 3rd fastest 4-lap average speed in Indy 500 history. What does that mean to you? Did it feel that fast?
It felt pretty fast, yes, but it was it's definitely. I was very pleased with that. Also, very, very cool stat to hear. And it's cool to have 2 Dutch guys in the top 3 in history. So it's cool that I can be part of that.
Go ahead, Bruce.
I got a better stat than that. That speed was run 5 years before you were ever born.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you put it in that perspective, that's an those are historic numbers.
Those are historic numbers, and I think we bumped a lot of guys out of those charts today, everyone out there. So I think everyone was on their A game, and it's all about who improves most this year. So I think we did a great job, and hopefully I can move up to P2 in those history standings.
And also the fact that when you ran your speed, you were pretty much assured you didn't have to go out again today.
Yeah,
How,
that was
how
nice.
important is that?
I remember in 2020 and 2021, especially 2020, that it was pretty nerve-wracking to just sit around all day waiting and seeing if someone's going to improve. And this, really made my day.
And for Jimmy, you seem to be enjoying these 4-lap runs. You got the possibility tomorrow you'll have to do 2 more, so I'm sure you're probably looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, I just think of the progress I made from yesterday morning. Granted, the conditions were pretty tricky, but I'd never done a qualifying sim lap around here, never felt the boost, and there's a lot more power. When you turn the knob to that next level, I mean, it really goes. So I just feel like I'm getting more reps, more quality reps, understanding how to use my tools. I've felt some lower drag settings, which I've never felt before. Still playing with mechanical grip and things like that. So I think tomorrow's practice session will be helpful, and then we'll see what happens when it comes time.
Just a quick one for both Jimmy and Roman. Last year and a half coming to the series, thinking about maybe doing the 500. Now you are. Was there a moment for each of you, maybe as with your family? I know your family was here, your dad's here, obviously. With the photo on the yard of bricks after you've qualified, was there a sentimental moment? And to think, by the way, that both of you guys lined up nose to tail in front of one another when you guys initially went out for your qualifying runs, I thought that was kind of a nice touch as this story comes full circle a little bit.
Yeah, I think the first moment I had was before I fired up to leave to start my lap. I saw the NBC Peacock pit box that I was in last year commentating. And I sat there with so much FOMO watching these guys go, and to just, to know what's happened in the course of 12 months and actually be in the race car, that was a really neat moment. And then, of course, the photo with my family. I think the speed scared my kids. Like, when they saw me, the look in their eyes, that or just the energy that the Indianapolis Motor Speedway brings to people. But my kids, they've been to plenty of races, but they've never looked at me like that before. It was really cool.
Roman, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's just all the rituals and tradition around here, right? The picture after the qualifying lap. I didn't have my family today, but I was glad to make the family picture with my engineer, Olivia, and his wife. They are like family in the US for me. I know my kids were booing everyone going after me on TV, so they wouldn't jump me. It's very bad, but I was very proud of them.
That's great. I'm sorry, Chris, go ahead, sir.
You're good. Jimmy, 20 years ago, you qualified on the pole position for your very first Daytona 500. What's the intensity like in qualifying for the Indianapolis 500 to compare to qualifying for the Daytona 500 as someone who's done it 20 years?
Yeah, that's a great question. The lap itself, there's really not a comparison. This is so much more intense. I mean, plus you have 4 of them. You got to run not just one. But the process, the 2 weeks of being in Daytona, trimming the car out, the team really working their magic, worrying about temps, worrying about aero efficiency. There are a lot of parallels, but there is much more on the driver here than what happens in Daytona 500 qualifying.
Realistically, front row possible, pole possible, you think? Or
man, I got a shot. I don't know what the odds are. I still feel like I'm learning and getting quality reps and getting better. So I'll send it for sure and see.
Takuma, you had the issue with Marco earlier today. Was it just forgetting to go to the warm-up, or was it just something else you were trying to adjust in the car and lost track of where you were?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I really didn't have any idea. I've got no information about that, and just cooling down back to the pit, and it was actually surprised the Marco when I saw him in the crossing that better not to move anything, right? So. Obviously, it shouldn't be happen, but it's happened. So we try to, prevent what's happening and not happening in the future. So that's all. But obviously, we lost that time at that time. It was obviously a tough situation, but come over today and again, we in the top 12. That was something I'm really proud to what the team did. So it's fantastic work from the 51 car.
Rinus, Ari Landijk still has the track record here. How much has he been a mentor to you in qualifying here at the Speedway and learning how to run fast here?
He has been definitely in the past. I remember my rookie year really helped me through it. Now a little bit less because I'm starting to know what I'm doing. And after qualifying, he came to me and still, of course, he was very happy for me, but also talked about a few points that I can maybe try and try to create some less scrub and keep the revs up a little better.
Romain, you've done Monaco several years. If my memory is correct, you did Le Mans once. How does the preparation and the pageantry and everything else going into the Indy 500 and everything else compared to those races that you've done?
I think the qualifying at the Indy 500 is easier, just because it's flat out, and if the car is good, you just let it go, right? Monaco qualifying, it's fast, it's tricky. You have to get everything out of it. Le Mans, there's traffic in your qualifying laps, so it's a bit hairy. Obviously, as I say, we played conservative today, so we didn't go full balls out. So maybe tomorrow is a different story. But today, it felt fairly straightforward. I wouldn't say easy, because 232 miles an hour is never easy, but it didn't feel like, the car was sliding too much or I had too much to work with it.
Thank you.
Eric?
Yeah, two of you guys have teammates in the Fast 12 tomorrow, and two of you don't. Is that an advantage or a disadvantage to have a teammate available tomorrow?
I think for me it's going to be definitely an advantage. Ed will be running before me, I think, so we can all see how his car does, and maybe we have to make a little tweaks to my car. And I think it also shows for the team, it just brings up the morale and shows that we just have everything, have our stuff together, have our stuff right. So I think confidence-wise for the team, this really helps.
Either the ones that don't have a teammate?
My engineer would tell me to just go with the feeling, which I did today. It works pretty well. So it's not definitely not an advantage, but I think it's not a disadvantage. We know what we're doing, and then we should have a good car tomorrow. I think the conditions going to be different, but luckily we have a practice session, so that should help us to get everything ready for quali.
Go ahead.
Jimmy, you mentioned not racing last year. I'm just wondering, after this week of practice and this qualifying, is there any sense of validation that you've come here and had success when it wasn't clear a year ago that you were going to be racing in the 500?
Validation hasn't crossed my mind. And it's just been so much fun. Like, the experience itself has been so cool. I mean, my dad's here. My wife and kids came today. My dad's over there in turn 3 spotting. So it's, there are all these moments that just make this experience very special to me. I'm not sure what would be validating per se, but I think there are expectations that I've put on myself to run better on ovals. So to gain that confidence, feel good about things, it's just been a lot of fun.
And Roman, similar question. You were in F1 for a while. What's it been like to come here and see success in this qualifying at Indy?
It's good. It's, there's few races in the world that you want to win. Le Mans 24 Hours, Monaco GP, Indy 500, right? If you have those three, you have the triple crown. And it's been very unique to do that. I won't make it because Monaco was never kind to me. But I'm glad to be here. It's a good experience. As I said, there's a lot of racing. There's a lot going on. It's great to see that we have had so many fans since we started running the practice. The race running is complicated. It's, I watched it from Europe and I was like, yeah, it's just turning left and be flat out. It's a bit more than that, really. And I think it's definitely something that every driver should know in the world, that it is something on its own. But I was talking to Pat Howard earlier, and it was like, where did you get race day? It's very unique. I was lucky to do the Japanese Grand Prix, where there's so many fans and great atmosphere. But I think that's going to be something on another level.
Thanks.
Let's take just two from Zoom. Jeroen Demidal has joined us. Jeroen, go ahead, sir. Unmute yourself if you have to. There you go.
Thanks, Ed. My question is obviously for Rinus. Rinus, gefeliciteerd jongen, geweldige dag vandaag.
Dankjewel.
Well, we're going to switch to English for the rest of the audience. Now, of course, in a way, you had a benefit from or you draw from the good weather circumstances. At the same time, you also just had a good car. Going into tomorrow, what would make you feel? What would make you happy in terms of position if you can make it to pole position?
Well, I think looking at today, pole position is all we have to go for tomorrow. For me, whatever the car is going to do, I'm going to stay flat for 4 laps. And yeah, just got to be the fastest guy out there. And I think there's still some time to extract out of the car. So yeah, really showing this pace, being over half a mile an hour faster than anyone else over 4 laps, I think, yeah, it's definitely possible. And it's not going to be easy with having the same conditions for everyone, or basically the same conditions, same for everyone. But yeah, I think we can definitely do it. We have the Chevy Power has been very good this month, and I think the ECR always builds a very good qualifying car. So I'm not worried at all.
Okay, thanks, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. One more, Ben Johnson from the Paddock Eye. Ben, go ahead.
Sure, hey, Jimmy, congratulations on completing your first day of qualifying.
Thank you.
For the 500, how does this rank in terms of your career? Like, where is it in the achievements in your career?
You know, it's really high. I haven't had much time to think about it and place it, but I can definitely say I'm enjoying it more. I'm instead of being so focused on just the work side, I'm enjoying the different moments. I'm letting my mind, relax a little bit, look around, kind of smell the roses type moments, which was not how I operated my Cup career. I was pretty focused and didn't take time to savor the experience in the moment. So I feel like I'm doing a really good job of that. And today exceeded expectations. Not only the performance on track, but the fan support, the energy on pit lane, everything that I experienced today was really more than I expected. And I know it's nothing like what we're going to see on Sunday here next weekend. So just savoring every moment that I can.
Excellent. Well, congratulations. Best of luck tomorrow and see you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Thank you, sir. Unless there's a follow-up here, we'll go ahead and wrap. And can't wait to see you guys back at it tomorrow for Top 12 and the Firestone Fast 6 going for pole for the 106th running of the Indianapolis 500. Thank you all. Romain Grosjean, Rinus VeeKay, Takuma Sato, Jimmy Johnson. Thanks, guys.